Alright, here we go. We're going to try this recording using the MyoScan Z. This is what the MyoScan Z looks like. It is a different style EMG preamplifier. This one has the impedance testing built into it, just like the EEG Z has it, so we can test impedance when we're doing EEG sensors. Well, it's not as commonly done where we test the impedance for EMG, but it can be just as important. So I'm going to just show how this would work. I'm in the Biograph Infinity software. This is Thought Technology software, and of course the MyoScan Z is a Thought Technology Pro Comp EMG amplifier. So I'm going to go into a Surface EMG screen. Let's see. Choose the screen. Now, when we go to our sensor connection screen, I have this sensor plugged into B, but it is a MyoScan Z, and the screen is asking for or expecting a MyoScan Flex, and it's saying wrong sensor type. MyoScan Z is what's detected. So I'm gonna click on that, and you see down here there's a toggle and repeat button. If I highlight this one, now this toggle button is active. So I click on toggle, we're gonna see this MyoScan Flex change to MyoScan Z. So now it's MyoScan Z, and the wrong sensor type column is now blank. That MyoScan Z that was there disappeared. So we're actually okay now. So I'm going to click OK. It says the sensor configuration was changed. Changes take effect only if you save them. Do you want to save the new sensor configuration? I'm going to say yes. By the way, if my background looks different today, behind me, I'm working from home tonight when I'm doing this video, so that's why it looks different than the office. If you've seen any of my videos that I did in the office, that's why the background looks different. Okay, so now, normally we would just click on the arrow to start recording, but instead of doing that, we're going to go to Hardware, and we go to Impedance Check. It says remember the following inputs were replaced with constants and so on. We just click OK, and now we're on the Impedance Test screen. So these represent the electrodes, the blue, yellow, and black, and that would be associated with the blue, yellow, and black here on our EMG extender cable that connects to the preamp. So I would be plugging this in to the preamp. I'll make sure this is lined up properly. That dot has to be lined up with the notch there. Push that in. So now we're set to connect these two sensors. So I've got a couple of different kind of sensors here. I'm going to use these EasyTrodes part number 3SG3N. That's what these look like. With a cloth backing and pre-gel on this side. These sensors actually have been sitting around for a while, so they are a little bit old. They might even be expired. I want to see what the impedance looks like with these sensors. So I'm going to take my alcohol prep pad and I'll just use my arm for this placement. Clean the skin. Let that dry for a while. While that's drying, I am going to snap these connectors onto the disposable electrodes. Okay, these are snapped on now. So now I'm going to just stick them on my arm. Arm should be dry now. Stick these on. And I'm just going to put them on my arm like so. And I can tell the way that these are peeling off that the adhesive is a little old. So I don't know if that's going to affect the impedance. You can see I've got those electrodes on my arm now. And now this is the moment of truth. So these are settings here. And it has for individual 50, pairs 100. So the red color would say that it's not good impedance. Yellow would say it's okay. You can see that's 15. And then the green would say it's good. So that would be lower than that. So I have no idea what kind of reading I'm going to get. I did decent prep on my skin. As I said, these disposable electrodes are been sitting around for a while, and they're also a pre-gel type. There's another type that are not pre-gelled, and these would use some electrode cream that goes in this area right where the electrodes are, and that I would expect give better conductance. So I'll be interested to see what kind of reading I get here. So here goes. Up here where it's giving the instructions for impedance check, it says to enter impedance check mode, press and hold the encoder's power button. This is the encoder, and the power button is right under this blue light here. So I'm supposed to press and hold the encoder power button until the power indicator blinks twice. So it's about 2 seconds. Then let go. The power indicator keeps blinking until the encoder is taken out of impedance check mode. To exit impedance checking mode, press and hold the encoder's power button until the blinking light stops. That's about 1 second. So I'm going to make this go into impedance test mode. Okay, so now that light is flashing, and it's in impedance test mode. So we can see here that I'm getting impedances in the area of about 20 to 21, and I just moved a little bit in it. I'm getting readings between 18 and 21. They're all yellow, so that would be good enough. All right, now I'm going to close this. You can see, let's see, if I press on the electrodes, I'm holding the electrodes closer to my skin now with my fingers. You can see one of them went down to about 14 for a little while. just from the extra pressure. When I let go, and you can see it kind of goes up again, down to 14. So you can see how even that will affect it. I'm going to close this, and let's see if I compare this to another placement. This is another type of electrode. This is called a triode, and it snaps directly into the amplifier. The electrodes themselves would press right against the skin, and there's no conductive pre-gel on them, so I'm going to see what happens with that. Actually, I didn't have to take these off because I could just unplug from the amplifier. Now I'm going to snap directly into this. And I'm going to peel the backing off. And I'm going to put this directly on the muscle. Just need a little bit more cable here. So I'm going to put this right on my arm. Same place where I already had prepped. And now I'm going to look at the impedance with this setup. This is what this looks like on my arm. So I'm going to see if we get any impedances that look different. Now we're getting readings that just say open. Open usually means that the impedance is just so high that it doesn't even give you a number. So that's interesting. Okay, I just added a little conductive paste on these electrodes, and I'm going to put them back on my arm. The adhesive is not going to stick so great because I had taken it off already. But we're going to try it again and see what kind of impedance reading we get. Nope, it's still showing open. Very interesting. Let me just try one more thing. Take this out of impedance test mode and then put it back in impedance test mode. No difference. Still open. So this is telling me that the impedance that I'm getting with this setup is much worse than the other. Even when I take the sensor off, it's like I didn't do anything. So let's try putting these other ones back on again. Let's see. I'll try putting the same ones back on. And just plug this back in. Huh, look at that. So the impedance with this type of sensor was way better than with this dry sensor. So now my next thing to do is try these with a different type of conductive gel. Let's see if it makes any difference. But this was an interesting test. The main thing I wanted to do is just show how this impedance test sensor works, which is what I was able to do. And also, I just want to let people know that this sensor costs about $100 more than the type of sensor that does not have the impedance test. But as you can see, there could be a big difference in your impedance levels depending on the different types of sensors you use, depending on the disposable sensors, depending on the electrical contact based on the skin prep, cleaning the skin, and those kinds of things, what a person might have on their skin. Now, I'm going to take one of these sensors off just to show you what happens. I just took one off, and you see it when it goes to open. So that means the contact is terrible now that one sensor is off. Now, if I put that back on, see it starts to settle down again. And now the impedance readings are starting to go up because I've been taking the sensors off and playing around with them. But this is a type of sensor that can be very useful. It can allow you to have better quality EMG readings, because when the impedance is low and balanced, meaning that it's even amongst the three readings that you get, then your equipment is better able to reduce artifact or external noise that you might pick up from the environment, from equipment that's surrounding the area, and those kinds of things. So it can be very helpful to have the impedance test, and it doesn't cost that much more. If you're already spending thousands of dollars on your equipment, to spend another $100 to be able to have impedance testing capability and be able to be more confident in the readings you have on your EMG can be really important. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.